Hi, I'm Selena. And one rainy night when I was 18, I ran away from my abusive foster home. I was all alone on the street and shivering when I suddenly spotted a man wearing a leather jacket. I ran to him and said, "Excuse me, I need help. I'm all alone and there's no place for me to go."
Oh, don't worry. I'm Rocky. You can come and rest at my place.
I don't know why, but I felt safe with him, so I hopped on his bike. When I reached his home, I went to take a shower, but I forgot to take a hair towel. So I went to his room to grab a towel, and I was shocked when I saw newspaper clippings of the most wanted gangster all over his wall. No way, he was a gangster? I ran out to save my life, but he grabbed me from behind and locked the room from inside. Let me go! You're a criminal! I can't stay with you!
You're alone and the world is a bad place. Let me protect you.
I don't need protection from a gangster. I'm gonna run away when you're asleep anyway.
You can't escape from me. There's a chip on your back. I can track you anytime.
I looked at my back and tried to remove that chip.
It won't come out, you silly. It's permanent.
Ah!
Don't pull your hair. It hurts me.
I was trapped, and I had no option but to listen to him. He reminded me to eat my meal, but I refused. So he took out his pistol, and I finished my meal in just 1 minute. When I went to sleep, he came in to check on me.
You got drenched in the rain. Here, take the blanket. It'll keep you warm.
I'm not a child. I can take care of myself. You go away. Rocky glared at me and forcefully put the blanket over me. I couldn't dare to remove the blanket that night, even though I was sweating profusely. The next morning when I woke up, I saw Rocky standing with a cup of tea. Then he made me breakfast, washed my clothes, and did dishes and all my chores. In the evening, he took me to the shop to buy me dresses, but he actually didn't pay anyone and just showed his pistols. The next day, he enrolled me into a new school.
I couldn't study because of my situation, but I want you to finish your studies.
But I don't...
You'll do as I say. I won't hear a word from you.
And I was ready to join my new school. The next morning when I entered my class, a girl ran to me and said,
Hey. Go back and walk again in slow motion. And don't stop until I ask you to.
What the hell? I grabbed my seat, but she came running to me and punched hard on my face. I fell right on the ground before I could hit her. She came closer and I sneezed right on her face. She was drenched in my saliva. Everyone laughed. Never ever try to mess with me. I don't spare anyone. It turned out she was Eva, the nastiest girl in our class. During music class, the piano grabbed my attention. I used to play it for my parents when I was young. I wish I didn't lose them in a car accident. I felt so good playing the piano, but someone pushed my hands away. No way, Eva again?
Keep your dirty fingers away from that piano.
Saying that, she pounced on me again, but the music teacher gave her detention for 2 hours. Then, the music teacher asked me to play the piano, and I played it with my heart out. All my classmates were mesmerized, and my music teacher really liked me. The next day, when I went home, Rocky asked me about my school, and this time, I felt a bit comfortable talking to him. I told him about Eva, and he was furious. He immediately pulled out his pistol, and I grabbed his hand. Hey, just calm down. Why do you always take out your pistol for everything? Are you two obsessed with each other? And he laughed. Then, he took me for some surprise and stopped by a giant shop of musician instruments. I played a giant piano there and had so much fun. But to my surprise, I found the same giant piano in my room the next morning. Oh my god! I immediately jumped out of my bed and was really excited. Rocky was ecstatic and he said,
I saw your eyes sparkle when you saw it, so I wanted to get you this little gift.
This isn't a small gift. It's the best gift I've ever got. Looks expensive, too. He just smiled and asked me to play the piano. I realized Rocky wasn't bad at heart. He just chose the wrong path. Suddenly, the doorbell rang, and I knew it was the newspaper guy. I grabbed the newspaper, but I was shocked to see the front page. It was about a big robbery at a giant piano shop. I immediately knew the culprit. I ran to Rocky and probed. Why did you lie to me? You said you bought the piano, but you stole it.
I never buy anything. I always steal.
What about the police? They must be looking for you.
They can't touch me. They're just pretending. I've already bribed them.
You're just impossible, Rocky. What you did is completely wrong. Rocky and I had come much closer, and I wanted him to choose the right path. The next day, I began doing all the household chores for him. I cooked for him just the way he did. This got us more close, and we fell for each other. One day in school, the music teacher announced a big vocal competition, and the judge was supposed to be a famous pianist. I was excited and immediately registered for it. On the day of the competition, I spotted Rocky in the audience. Eva performed and grabbed a few claps, but when it was my turn, she threw oil on the keys of the piano. I tried to play it and my fingers just slipped. Rocky noticed everything from the crowd and looked furious. He then did what I feared the most. He took out his pistol and pressed the trigger 3 times in the air. The people were scared, and soon there was a stampede. Somebody called the police, and I couldn't believe what happened next. Someone grabbed me and threw me on their shoulder like a sack of cement and started running. All I saw was the ground shaking, so I closed my eyes until we were outside, and my kidnapper put me down. I was ready to fight. Hey, you can't just... Oh my god. Rocky? What's all this?
Shh, shut up. We gotta get out of here before the police find us.
Rocky looked around quickly and spotted a motorcycle. He connected a few wires and the motorcycle started. He beckoned me to get on, and before the police came, we rode away into the night like Bonnie and Clyde. Rocky finally stopped outside a motel and booked a room. As the motel staff got our room ready, I binge-watched all these amazing videos on Hear My Story. They are a perfect stress buster, and I was one of their early subscribers. I'm so happy to see that this channel is growing. You should also subscribe to it. It's absolutely free. By the time we got to the room, I was so tired and ready to slump. But there was only one bed. Rocky and I looked at each other awkwardly until he spoke first.
Take the bed. I can't sleep anyway.
Can't sleep because you're a wanted criminal?
Don't be a smarty mouth and go to sleep.
I fell asleep immediately and had this nightmare where I was caught in a shootout and shot on the back of my neck. When I woke up, I was in actual pain coming from the back of my neck, and Rocky was standing over me with a sharp tool. OMG! Was this the day I was gonna die?
Don't move. It's almost out.
What? What's almost out? Ouch! That hurts! A few seconds later, he held something in his hand. It looked like a chip, but I wasn't sure until he actually said it was. How did you know it was in there? Ow! As he bandaged me up, he explained that he'd been watching the foster home for a long time and knew that they put chips in the kids they adopted.
Before my baby sister disappeared, she had one just like it.
Your sister was in the foster home as well? He showed me her picture, and I was surprised to see that it was one of my best friends in the foster home, Mandy. We were very close until one night, she just disappeared. Rocky told me he never stopped looking for Mandy, which was why he hung around the foster home a lot. Suddenly, an idea hit me on how I'd help Rocky figure out what happened to Mandy. I knew I was going to regret it, but since Rocky had been so kind to me, I had to do something to help him out. To put my plan into action, I decided to go back to my foster home to do some investigations for Rocky's sake. When everyone was asleep that night, I sneaked into my foster mom's office where all the kids' files were kept. I looked through them until I found Mandy's. I started going through it, but just then, my foster mom walked in. She was about to turn around and catch me, but I sneaked out and sprinted to the gate where Rocky was waiting for me on his motorcycle. Soon, we were back at the motel and going through Mandy's file, and what we found out was very heartbreaking. I can't believe they sent her off to work as a maid. She's barely 17. Isn't that, illegal?
I knew something fishy was going on. We need to go get my sister now.
Rocky got up to leave, but I grabbed his hand and stopped him. I know you're desperate to find Mandy, but don't forget you're still wanted by the police. You can't roam around freely and just barge in somebody's house. I thought Rocky was going to shove my hand away or pull out one of his guns to shut me up, but instead, he engulfed me in a hug.
Thank you so much, Selena. You're like my lucky charm. I can finally find Mandy thanks to you.
At that moment, my heart started to race, and I felt butterflies in my stomach. I had never felt anything like it, and it freaked me out, so I pulled away from the hug quickly, but it took a while for my heart to stop beating so loudly. Is this what having a crush feels like? Anyway, let's leave the matters of my heart for another day. The next day, I was woken up by a bald man wearing nerdy glasses, and I almost passed out until he spoke.
Relax, Selena, it's me. I thought I might wear a disguise because, well, wanted by the cops and all.
Wow, you look really different. Even Mandy may not recognize you. Let me get changed so we can leave. About an hour later, we were standing outside the house where Mandy worked as a maid, hoping she would come out somehow. After what seemed like a century, a girl finally came out through the gate wearing a maid's uniform, carrying a trash bag. As soon as Rocky saw her, he ran towards her, put a hand over her mouth, and dragged her out while she kicked and struggled to free herself. Man, Rocky had no mercy at all. Rocky finally let go after he made her promise not to scream. Mandy recognized me first and was so shocked she almost fainted.
How are you here, Selena? Did they send you here too? If that's the case, you should just run away right now.
Mandy.
Who are you?
It took her a while to recognize him, but when she finally did, we couldn't stop the waterworks all the way back to the motel. Anyway, after crying for a while, Mandy told us that she was threatened by her foster parents, that they'd hurt her only family member left, Rocky, if she didn't take the job.
Worse still, they didn't even pay me once.
Rocky didn't even wait for Mandy to finish talking. He just grabbed his guns and stormed out angrily as we followed him behind, scared for our lives. In no time, he was standing outside the foster home, calling for our foster parents to come out. Mandy and I tried to stop him, but he was really angry. When no one came out, he shot 3 bullets in the air. That surely brought everyone out, including the police a few minutes later. But Rocky didn't go down alone. The police took Mandy's file and the chip and searched the entire foster home. Turns out, the foster parents had been illegally selling kids off to a maid service agency, and they put tracking devices on us so we didn't run away. When I ran away, they kept watching me, but didn't care to come after me because they knew who Rocky was. Rocky was arrested, but before he was taken away, he said the most romantic thing ever.
You're the only light to my darkness, Selena. Please, wait for me. Then I can ask you out properly.
Before I could even respond, he kissed me.
Ugh, get a room, you two.
While Rocky was out serving time for 2 years, I got back to my normal life. Joined a reality show competition, won first place and a lot of money. Bought a house, moved in with Mandy, and my shows sold out very fast. 2 years later, Rocky was out, and as promised, he officially asked me out. What do you think I said? Obviously, yes. Hello, fam. I'm so happy that our small clan is expanding. But still, 90% of you that's watching the videos haven't subscribed. Can you please take a moment and subscribe right now? And ask your friends and family to do too? Love ya. Thanks.